It's time for Q&A in the Kitchen, podcast edition. How to prepare for a tattoo or a piercing. Brought to you in part by Skin Kitchen Tattoo, the Axiom Body Piercing Studio, and Death Before Decaf. It's a show where tattoo artists and body piercers and those in the body art industry sit down and answer one question to the point where they beat it to death. So let's join the conversation now between Jack, Westley, and DaVo.
I guess I will say first is make sure you got a good sleep and a good meal inside you. People pass out and feel nauseous sometimes, especially if it is your first tattoo. So making sure you've got a good meal before you come that's good and healthy, and a good night's sleep, that you're not stressed out, is always a really important factor. That's probably the first important factors, actually. Is making sure that you're in a good place in your own head for being able to get a tattoo or a piercing. So
yeah, I'd pretty much just second that. A good night's sleep is good. If you're out the night before partying it up and you come in and you're half hungover and you're dehydrated and everything else, not only is that going to make it harder on you, your skin is going to be dehydrated. It's going to affect how your tattoo goes. So it's going to make it be a lot better experience. Get a little bit of food in you just so you're not on an empty stomach. Good night's sleep, and really just trusting your artist. I think a lot of people let themselves get stressed out because they've seen so many bad tattoos or they've heard so many bad stories, and I think it's a good idea to remind yourself that the reason you came to Skin Kitchen is so you don't have to worry like that. Like, we got you. We're going to take care of all that stuff. You're not going to have to worry about getting a bad tattoo or anything like that. Just let that go. That's on us, and we've got that handled. So you just worry about
if you work in any kind of conditions where you have like rough skin or dirty skin frequently. It doesn't hurt to help lotion up beforehand a little bit, maybe a couple of days. If you're
prone to dry skin.
Yeah, prone to dry skin, but that's a rare thing. Even then, it's not even a super necessary thing. Just maybe some of those more heavy industrial kind of jobs. Generally.
And that reminds me too. A lot of people think that they have to shave first. You don't.
We'll
you don't have to shave at all.
It's not weird to us.
No. Yeah, some people are kind of weird. Like, I didn't know if I was supposed to shave or not. Don't have to shave, because a lot of times you probably don't do that good of a job anyway, and we have to kind of make up for it anyway. And a lot of times you'll end up shaving more than you had to or anything else. So. But yeah, no need for that.
Back to the alcohol. Being hungover coming in it increases the likelihood of you bleeding more.
Yeah.
It can. You still will have alcohol in your system. That's what being hungover is, purging your system of the poison.
Right.
So you're going to be more prone to bleeding. You're going to be more prone to passing out, possibly.
Yeah.
So that's two reasons. One of the things I always suggest is visiting ahead of time. Talk to your artist, get to know them a little bit so that you feel confident and comfortable. If it takes you 3 trips to do that, yeah, we might be a little annoyed, but we'd rather have you like that than either not show up or pass out on us, because it's not fun all the time. The other thing is moral support.
Yeah.
Find somebody that's actually positive in you getting it and have them come with you. That way you feel like you're kind of ganging up against the artist. So you have somebody in your corner. You have a good corner man, good shout guy. Do not bring anybody that's going to sit there and go, oh my God, that hurts. That looks like it's painful. I can't believe you're doing that. What is your mother going to think of this? And all this other stuff.
Yeah, pretty soon he's going to feel even positivity.
Yeah, I've had to kick people out of the room because they were obviously not wanting the person to get it done. They were usually a significant other. And they were just detrimental to that person's mental state. Which made me question the relationship in the first place, but at the same time. And it's natural to rouse your buddies and all that stuff.
Yeah,
but, if you're comfortable with somebody doing that, then fine. But usually it's a good idea to just have, especially if it's your first time.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. Bring along 10 people, not a great idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, a good moral companion that's there to help you through it is no problem. If that helps keep you cool, then
especially if they've been through the process before, so they kind of know what they're going through.
Right. Unless it's one of those know-it-alls that got a 20-minute tattoo one time and they've seen every episode of Miami Heat.
This the whole time.
Yeah, I'm like, so what kind of machines you using? Oh yeah, my cousin uses those. Yeah, he's the best tattooer in the world. It's no big deal. Like, oh yeah.
Why didn't you go to him?
But yeah.
You don't nitpick your tattoo artist. They don't like that.
Yeah.
Or your piercer. I don't like to be second guessed.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I was talking about. Trusting your artist.
Yeah.
You know,
It depletes on our confidence a little bit. It makes
Right.
us second guess ourselves, and we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Because then we have to double check everything, and we could end up overworking your tattoo because of that.
or not doing something that you could have really enjoyed because you've put up so many of these barriers and said, "Well, what are you doing there? What are you That
Absolutely.
when we're doing the tattoo, we're going to be like, "Well,
Now we
okay,
don't want to take that extra 10%.
Yeah, I would
We're
do
afraid
that,
you're not
but-
gonna like it.
exactly." So it's one thing. It's totally cool if you bring in a design and you're like, "This is the design and this is the way I want it." No sweat. But if you come in and go, "I got something up here and I need it drawn," then you have to understand that your idea is going to have to go through that filter of an artist, and then it's going to get to the paper.
You're asking
So
for
unless,
creative liberties.
right, it has to. No matter what, no matter how hard you try, whatever goes through my brain and comes on my hand, it goes through me. So it's going to have me on it. So you've got to understand that. So in picking your artist, think about that. If you're looking at their work and they've got kind of the, everybody's kind of got a feel and a style to their work. If that's not if you don't think that feel or that style is going to work with what you're wanting, then find another artist, because because like I said, they're going to come through no matter what. It's going to be a little bit them, no matter how bad they want to beat it out of themselves or whatever. So just keep that in mind, that, we're trying to take an image out of your head and get it on paper as close as we can, but realize no matter what, it has to go through us first. Unless you can draw it yourself, which is great. I love it. Bring in finished artwork, great. I'll Xerox it right on, no problem. That's great. But if you've got something, then you've got to run it through my program, and I have to decipher that code and put it on the paper. It's gonna, there are gonna be things
different from mine.
Right, and some
versus
people
yours.
love that because they want some of Jack in there. They want some of Westley in there. I want you to take the design, but I want it to be you too. And that's great. But for the people who don't want that, then, you might have to look a little harder to find that artist that kind of naturally is already in your brain, if that makes any sense. So, anyway, I don't know how probably far off. Well, that is good preparation.
It brings into, it's a collaborative effort. Even when marketing, you're saying, the reason why I show it to you is so that you can go, oh yeah, that's what I envisioned.
Yes.
When I close my eyes and I peer into my inner self, this is where I see that being.
Right, exactly.
Because
Don't just say
otherwise,
that's good and
if
be
you-
upset after the
Yeah.
piercing's done that it's not exactly where you envisioned. Oh, it's hanging to the side differently than where it should be.
And see, our jobs is collaborative, but our jobs is to take that vision that you have and that idea that you have and shift it into reality where it's going to work.
Yep.
And it's still going to look good.
Right.
And that trust issue, I think, is the biggest part of it.
Yeah, it's working with your artist, not or your piercer, as someone you're collaborating with, not someone you're pointing at things and going, "Do this."
Yeah.
Because that's not a very good working relationship with someone that you're trying to create something that you're both going to enjoy. And it puts you in that defensive posture, and you're not going to get the most out of your artist if you're picking and tearing down and questioning. We want you to get what you want, absolutely. And and it's our job too to make sure that we're satisfied that we know what you want. So
Consultations are a great thing.
It's not wrong.
Sit down with your artist and chat with them. But almost every artist that I've ever known, we're not charging for consultations. We just want to know what your idea is. We'll discuss it with you. We'll say what works for you. If it's anything, if you think you're going to spend more than $100 on a tattoo, that's a good idea of when you should be consulting an artist. I mean, anything out lower than that, you could probably walk into most shops and find a way to get it. But that's not the truth of every case, but most of them.
Yeah, this does not hurt to do a consult.
But big pieces, sit down, talk with them. Go ahead, sorry.
This is the same thing with piercing.
Yeah,
Especially if it's going to make you feel more comfortable with the artist that you have. Is coming in, talking to them about, what type of jewelry they want to use, what their sterilization techniques are, how clean they are, and whether or not they have any experience with it. And I always tell people, it's like part of my job. I love what I do for a living. I love sharing it with people.
Yeah.
And anybody that doesn't believe that, check out my website and you will believe me after you've looked through the amount of content I've done since, I don't know, almost 20 years now.
Yeah.
So, if you go into a shop and you start talking to somebody, I'm happy to take 5 minutes out of my time to answer a bunch of questions and maybe give you some information that you can make a proper decision. Even if I don't end up doing the piercing, or it's a piercing I don't do, I want you to make that educated decision.
Yeah, at least you were educated about it, and I did as good as I could to make sure you got the best result you could do, even if I did it or not.
Yeah.
And we're the same way.
Yes.
I like to educate people more. Just for instance, you'll hear people come in, oh yeah, my skin doesn't take red. Well, why do you think that? Oh, my artist, blah blah blah, red fell out. That's a myth.
Yeah.
It's a total fucking myth that hackers use to hide behind the fact that they can't do what they're supposed to.
Yeah.
So things like that. Sure, we could perpetuate that rumor and to make it a little easier on us to when we red falls out. But no, it's bullshit. It's wrong. It's just a fallacy. So if you anything like that, talk to your artist, ask them. Don't believe the hype on a lot of that stuff, because a lot of it is the artist just trying to blame it on you.
Lower quality ink or something like that. But it's not to say that you can't hold it.
Right, yeah, it's not down to the color, Quickly, the reason red, people say that a lot of times about red, is because what happens when you poke the skin with a needle? Well, it fucking turns red. Whether you got ink on it or not, the skin's going to get irritated. So as you're working red in, not only is the skin getting irritated, but you're putting red pigment in there. So it's a little tough to tell. Is that red pigment, or is that the skin being pissed off? So what artists tend to do is they go, well, I'll just make sure it's red, not just pissed off skin, and they go over it again and again and again. It gets too overworked, and then the red rejects, and ta-da, you don't hold red. So quickly, it's things like that it's good to, just ask, and don't, so many people are like, oh, I don't want yellow in it. Why not? Well, it doesn't hold. Yes, it does, So anyway, I
The
don't know.
industry's come a long ways in the last decade. Our inks are really high quality now.
Yeah, there's pretty much a technique or a way to do about anything you want to, no matter what you've been told, whether your skin will hold or not. So, skin tone, and we can talk about that in another question. But there are factors, but you not holding red is definitely not one.
You have been listening to Q&A in the Kitchen, recorded live at the Skin Kitchen Tattoo, located in Des Moines, Iowa. Those on the panel were DaVo from the Axiom Body Piercing Studio, Jack Lowe from Skin Kitchen Tattoo, and Wesley Dickerson from the Skin Kitchen. If you'd like to see further episodes, please stay tuned. We'll be posting more in the future, and do subscribe. If you would like to watch the video version of this, go over to our YouTube channel. We post these every other Sundays. You can subscribe there and not miss one episode. So until next time, have a good day and happy piercing and tattooing. And if you're in the Des Moines area, we all hope to see you for your tattooing and piercing needs in the future.